Mike Gill, state of corruption. Many of you have noticed yesterday that Vice President Mike Pence was in the process of landing at Manchester Airport. That's right. Then suddenly, without explanation, and yet people are asking for an explanation, why did you suddenly change your mind, turn that airplane around, and fly back to Washington? Now, someone might consider this some national emergency, but you made it clear that there wasn't, over and over again. But you didn't give a reason why. But clear, there's no emergency. And you'll see a clip from Vice where it says the VP is pretty much a symbolic figure. So what emergency would there be that you were in the process of landing and your landing's called off? Now, why were you coming to New Hampshire?
The vice presidency is a mostly symbolic job. However, if we came to a different.
Because of the drugs, right? President Trump calls New Hampshire a drug den. The DEA says we are ground zero, and we are. In fact, the drug business is booming. I gave you the drug cartel, Dick Anagnost, Andy Cruz, Grinder. I gave you the head of the cartel. I've given you the face of the businesses as Cruz, and Grinder as the launderer. Okay? But didn't I also give you the Hope Treatment Center? That's right. You're going to see a picture of all three of these guys as the owners. It's funny though, because if you look for the owners, you know what you find at Hope Treatment Center? Hope Treatment Recovery LLC, a limited corporation, meaning they're not telling you the owners. I had to find out who owned it, because I suspected the cartel to own treatment centers, as they do, pain clinics, as they do, and you've been seeing pain clinics getting in trouble, doctors. They're just cutting off the foot and keeping the rest. The hospitals that they own, you get it? Treatment centers. Now, Vice President Pence was landing in Manchester, New Hampshire to visit Granite State Recovery, the largest recovery center in all of New England. 12 offices. In fact, you'll see a brief article, the new one that they opened up at Salem, which Pence was going to. And the article says that it is so busy that they have to open a brand new facility just to keep up. Business is good. You being addicted. Right. Granite State Recovery. Well, let's check who owns it. I found out who owned Hope Treatment Center. You know what I found out? It's a limited corporation too. Granite State Recovery LLC. You know what an LL, limited corporation, means? It reduces its liability and it covers up ownership. But let's take a look. Who's the agent? Well, the agent is Attorney Philip Tube. Now let's think about this. He's from Nixon and Peabody. I'm going to show you something that I received on Monday. You know what it was from? Nixon and Peabody. You know what it was for? Dick Anagnost, the head of the drug cartel. Why? They're trying to force me into a bankruptcy. Well, why would you want me to be in a bankruptcy? Why don't you just take all my assets? Why do you want me to protect my assets? I know, but that's another video. And it falls under mergers and acquisitions. The important point to make here is Nixon and Peabody, the head of mergers and acquisitions for the firm. In fact, this guy, Tube, wrote a book about mergers and acquisitions. Now let's think about this. The guy ahead of merger and acquisitions, meaning to purchase or assume, you know, like my home, like my business properties, where we had a fixed judge, Tucker and Delker. We're not allowed to have witnesses or evidence, even if they're state troopers and judges, because this is what the corrupt do. They own the courts. But let's go on. Let's follow this. So we've got the largest treatment centers. You don't think. Well, we got Anagnost's attorney as the agent. And they're not coming forwards on a company that's supposed to be doing so good. In fact, I get a robocall. 603-819-5458 saying that if you've got problems with pain, you have issues, call us. We'll send you a free pamphlet, you know, to put you on drugs. They're now robocalling it. No kidding, business is good. All right, so now let's follow mergers and acquisition tub with Anagnost. Guess what? Let's go to Primary Bank. The only bank that opened in 8 years after Dodd-Frank, as interviewed with Jeb Bush. See, and listen, I go after Republicans, I go after the Democrats, I go after corruption. I don't play politics. That's how they divide you. That's how they distract you. They're not distracting me. Okay, so now we got the largest treatment center. If we go to that primary bank, we have the chairman of the board, Griner, the launderer. We got the vice president of the board, Cruz, the front man, and we got a director, Anagnost, the drug money. Who else do we got as a director? Doob. Mergers and acquisitions. What's the bet? What's the bet that Vice President Pence goes, wait a minute, they got a phone call. You're gonna kiss the ass of the drug cartel, you idiot. Because there is an investigation going on. You know why? I got a case number. That's the next video. You see? This can't be just about being elected. It can't be about making promises and smoke and mirrors. Why do we have the largest drug cartel? And it sweeps across this country. You know how easy it is to catch? How does Mike Gill know this information? Wow, the people of Granite State came to me. Just as the people of Hope Treatment Center. Just as the people who work for Primary Bank. There are good people out there. They know what's going on, they know what's happening, and they don't want to be used that way. Now don't think for a second that I'm not sympathetic to people with addiction. Why do you think I do what I do? It's because I am. Do I think they need help? Of course. But do you want to know how immoral this is? We get them addicted. We put them in jail, we sell them drugs. We recruit them and put them in treatment centers to steal Medicaid, you know, insurance fraud. And the corrupt insurance companies that they deal with. And if you don't think you're a victim, well, think about this. Your insurance goes off. That's from that stealing. That's from drugs, too. Now think about that. They're taking multiple bites of the same business apples. We'll get you addicted. We'll make money if we put you in a jail, and we'll make more money if we put you in recovery. Why wouldn't they own that? Who knows that business is prospering and growing? But the cartel, who could be selling these drugs under these entities of help? What do you think doctors do? I'm helping you, and they're selling you opioids. What do you think lawyers do? I'm representing you, but I'm really selling you out. What do you think politicians do? They lie to you. and they don't keep their promises. For instance, I supported President Trump. I put him on my signs and all my businesses and took the heat for doing that. But you didn't drain the swamp. The vice president was going to kiss the ass of the drug cartel. We didn't put Clinton in jail, and she's part of this deep state, and so is the Shaheens, as in Senator Shaheen. Want me to tell you how easy this is? These people, all you have to do is say, I want to help. They'll come to you with the evidence, including state troopers. Now think about this. You ready? You got your thinking caps on? You want to know how easy this is? There's thousands and thousands of addicted people in the state, right? There's thousands and thousands of people, customers for these Granite State Recovery. You know what they all know? They all know who to buy drugs from, right? Now, how about this? Where did you get the drugs from? And let's go visit them. And then we get to visit who they got them from. Isn't it that simple? Who's getting arrested? Some schmuck from a city selling on the street? Are you kidding me? This is an empire. I even told you where to find the empire's money. It's right there. Banking department, get them, you get their money. Right. You want to know another example? In over 10 years of putting extortion, putting Shaheen and Walker, the banking department, the FBI on my message centers, then the cartels, identifying them, each and every one of them. You know how many cops came and knocked on my door? And any one of my offices said, could you tell me about that? Could you show me the evidence? You know how many? 0. Not a one. You remember me talking to the DEA? You've seen it. My sign was less than a mile from them. 80 feet long. Drug cartels' faces on the signs. The DEA, have you seen those signs? Did you know that Anagnost was a drug dealer? No, I haven't. Wow, that's a hell of detective work, isn't it? And it's funny. Short time after that, they came up with a tractor trailer load of fentanyl. Have you been hearing who's been killing everybody? Fentanyl. Right. It was a tractor trailer load. Enough to kill everybody in this country, I don't know. 8, 10 times? What was the street value? Who did they get it from? Where did it go? Aren't those important questions? Nobody got arrested. They took them from the drug cartels and evidence dumped. Put on a pony show and then dropped it back off to the same treatment centers, same pharmacies, same hospitals. I mean, isn't it that simple? Nobody asked the questions because they got the answer. Mike Gill, State of Corruption.